friends. I am Warren, this is Aaron, and we're going to yell at each other about movies today, or just have a conversation. We don't know how these turn out, but we are glad to be doing it again, and also thank you for tuning in to watch us, or listen, however you're consuming.
Thank you. This could be a distinguished conversation, or it could get to screaming, and I'm happy either way.
What are we talking about today?
Michael Bay.
Oh, Jesus.
And everything we've seen, which I'm curious on your knowledge of it, because I don't know, of all the directors, the top hitters, he's not the one I've gone through most of his films.
It's so weird because he is busy. He is a working director. He is attached to blockbusters, summer, monster films. Like he's got some dirt on some Hollywood producer, like studio lot people to keep getting work. And I'm just being completely funny and facetious. He makes bubblegum popcorn movies, but he also makes shit like Armageddon, like things with big names that like really move people. And like
he make a classic,
he makes classics. The guy makes classics. You can't, at the end of it, like that's what it's all about. It's going to the movie and having fun. And I think he kind of embodies the core of that. This, looking at his IMDb and prep for this, like this fucker is busy, man. He is, like, let that be a staple of like whether or not he's good. People don't have time to waste money on bad directors in Hollywood.
Yeah, and even considering the fact that like I know him most from the Transformers series, I don't love those series from a movie filmmaking standpoint. I feel like they make me question everything about making films. But in terms of an action set piece, they're really well done and fun. They're not his best in from what I've seen outside of it.
If you need action movies with some stakes, no matter how ridiculous the premise is, this is the person you get. We're getting really ahead of ourselves. That's a signal for a good show. But we have a format here. We talk about news. I show Aaron his age by how many quotes he doesn't know, and then we dive into the Michael Bay catalog, or the director, or the film catalog. So I don't know. What are you watching? What have you been watching recently?
Do rewatches count? And can I
Absolutely.
talk about? Sweet. It's been a lot of Community. It has been a hardcore amount of Community. I don't see how you didn't know I was going to say that.
Well, we had this conversation. I didn't know, who is it? Dan Harmon?
Yeah.
Was he a writer?
Yeah, creator. Like in the show, like every opener, it says by Dan Harmon, but it's
zero clue. I had zero clue until about a week ago.
I can't believe that. But what's your viewpoint on Rick and Morty now that you know that? And are you going to watch Community?
So,
I don't.
I've seen episodes of Community that I've liked, right? Like I haven't sat down and like watched a series of Community episodes, but the episodes I have seen, I've fallen in love with. Specifically, the Dungeons and Dragons episode of Community is probably like the best television I've seen in a long time. And Chevy Chase, it's unfortunate that he had that sort of those words with Donald Glover, but I thought,
was that during that episode or something?
No. So like Chevy Chase apparently said something to Donald Glover like, people only think you're funny because you're black, and I was like, what? This is a guy who's worked with like Eddie Murphy and like I forget the older gentleman's name from SNL, but like, yeah,
I tried to Lampoon. I couldn't.
No, you've never seen. Oh, we got to do a Lampoon episode. That's on the docket. We have to do. That's okay. Actually in the film school of Warren Reed. That is required viewing. At least a few of those fuckers, even Van Wilder.
Okay, I think it was awkward with my family watching them.
Probably.
At some point, but because then they were like, because they were uptight. They're like, we got to cut out this thing, and I'm like, I like the film as a whole. Don't censor this thing for me. That's kind of ruining the experience. I get it as a kid, but as an adult looking back as a kid, I get it. But I'm also like, now it's formed how I got to see the whole thing. So I think now's the time to get into National Lampoon, I guess.
None of the Lampoons are meant for kids. and it seems to be tailored to kids, right? Like kind of like an American Pie.
So many things were though. Like, didn't RoboCop have like a toy for kids? And there's
Oh
like
yeah.
radioactive people being like coming boils and getting hit by cars exploding. It's not a kids movie.
When like they were trying to prototype RoboCop, didn't they like the accidents? Like one guy had his flesh ripped off his face, and like he basically was like a skeleton screaming because he was in pain. Yeah, RoboCop is not for kids.
Yeah,
but it is for kids simultaneous. The 80s and the 90s are a different time, man.
His origin story is he gets shot to death until he is only a head.
Ridiculous, man. I've gotten into Death Note. I've just sat down. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I'm like doing Death Note from season 1, the animated series.
Sweet. Wait, this is your first viewing ever?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'm hooked. I'm into it. You watch it and you feel like you've got it pegged, and then, or you watch clips and like people mention it, and then you see the movie on Netflix, and then like whatever. The memes, and then you finally sit down and watch it, and you're like, wait a second, this is actually pretty compelling shit. Anime, man. To your credit too, I had a friend, shout out to Jackie, she just started watching The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Television show, and she went on a rant on Facebook about how much she loved it. She was like surprised by it.
It's a really inspiring and well thought out show, and even their filler episodes at their worst have like a lot of good character development that just draws you into whoever is trying to dissect. You know, I could rant about that for a while.
We have to do You Educate Me on this dog shit show episode. Yeah, for sure. That's happening.
Wait, on Airbender?
Yeah.
You think it's dog shit?
I've never seen it. The only Airbender I know is through the genius M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my god, we should have discussed that more. We have a part 2 or something. But man, yeah, I don't think you got the cliff notes. You essentially watched someone direct the book cliff notes of season 1, and that's fine. But it's way too much exposition. We gotta have an episode. We gotta have an episode on that. And what was it? Anime, because oh boy,
for sure.
That all warmed my mind.
You have to keep me on track on anime, otherwise it'll be a bunch of tangent talk. I'm gonna just start somewhere, and then ultimately we wind up at Samurai Champloo, and then it spirals into DBZ Naruto talk. You know,
I'm okay with that. I've got many complaints about Boruto.
Is there anything happening? I know filming's been stopped. Is there anything newsworthy going on right now?
Well, there was one thing about hold on, I just had it a second ago. Endless movie trailer debuts ahead of August. Okay, that's not even important.
You're just reading Google headlines now, aren't you?
No, I was at Twitter. J.K. Simmons is ready to do whatever's needed to complete Justice. We didn't talk about this on the Zack Snyder episode either, on the Justice League Snyder cut. J.K. Simmons is like supporting it. Yeah. What's your feelings on the Snyder cut?
I think it'll probably be an altogether better movie, right? Like, you know how I feel about fucking editors and studio execs dipping their cocks into the melting pot of a movie. I hate it. Just, you give this person a budget, let them make the film, and then like you trust their artistic integrity, right? Like, let them do it. So I director's cuts to me are more enjoyable because at least I feel better about like sitting through.
Yeah, because I always like to ask, what is the goal of this movie from this director's standpoint? And that's kind of the deciding factor for me, as if it's good or not. You know what I mean? Whether I like the movie or not, because I don't like a lot of horror movies, but I've been giving them more of a chance recently. And as that's going on, I'm just starting like, okay, that was great. I still don't watch horror movies, and I'm probably not going to watch this ever again. But it was a great one. It was a great pick. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna go on a tangent about horror as a genre that I love and /hate. I'm dead inside. It's really hard when a horror movie scares me. I know it is fucking like scary, or it's scary for a different level. Like Get Out for me was terrifying.
it's like scary on a smart level, which is
Sure. I'll
okay.
take that. Yeah, I'll take that. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't mean that in an insulting way, but you can see the difference between like a blockbuster scary movie and an indie film scary movie that like where they kind of use, I don't know, some sort of loose message instead of where, I don't know, Halloween. I don't think that gets me, but a lot of stabbing. That's pretty crazy. Stop stabbing.
Well, like the B-list horror movie is still definitely a thing, right? Like
I think it's a
shout out to
popular genre too.
Israel Luna, who's a writer friend of mine. I hope I can still call him a friend. Based still on Facebook. He does like the campy horror movies. You know, ticked off trannies with knives is like his thing. But with those sort of independent films, you get as fucking gory as you want, man. Like no, like you're at this point, he's making the film for him and his friends, and like other people just happen to like it, right? That's like my.
I think those are the best movies because those, yeah.
In the 80s, 90s, like that was almost all of horror movies, right? Like Hellraiser and Mask of the Phantasm, and like these things were unnecessarily brutal. Like did you need to show this person being flayed alive? And like what is the SFX person, the visual effects person, people then were definitely earning their fucking paycheck.
The most grotesque reference I have is Evil Dead's too old, I think, but I think John Carpenter's The Thing is more like around that time.
The Thing. I don't.
It's horrifying, but
what is
so
it about?
well done. It's basically, the thing is, this little alien infects this base, and the alien can shapeshift, but you don't know that at first. Like the movie just opens up on some dog running, and a helicopter's chasing it, and they're trying to kill this dog, and you don't know why. But basically, it's an alien. That's not a plot. There's so much more.
Oh yeah, it's Kirk.
I consider it a horror.
Yeah, it's 100% a horror movie. So horror, kind of like horror sci-fi, horror psychological, horror comedy. I like it kind of goes into different areas too. Like it's not its own sort of siloed thing. I don't think Michael Bay has he done a horror. I don't think horror is his thing.
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
I looked up a couple.
What?
Pain and Gain. He's got, what else? I just had that tab open. I'll trim the fat on this.
What did it say? Oh shit! I've totally spaced on it.
Just remember what we were originally talking about.
Michael Bay or something or other. It doesn't matter.
Simmons.
Yeah. Oh yeah. J.K. Simmons, amazing actor. I met him in New Orleans at not met him. He threw beads at me from his. He was like the Bacchus float person. Anyway, I
kind of way
in a Mardi Gras. I shouted out a line from HBO's Oz at him, and he loved it. He looked at me and he laughed and he threw me a bunch of fucking beads.
That's awesome.
He will. I don't care how nice he is of a person. He will always be a Nazi white supremacist gang leader in Oz prison to me.
I guess I should watch Oz because I didn't know he was in that. And
God.
Do you realize the time that came out? I was like, you know what? I don't think I get into prison shows right now.
Oz was kind of like a graduating. Like there's so many people who went on to be in The Wire, to be in The Sopranos. Tony Soprano's wife was like a CO in Oz, right? Like there's a lot of people graduated from Oz to go do crazy things. Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, her boyfriend, the comedy guy, the dude who does the Allstate the commercials, he's like, I'm Mayhem. That guy, I forget his fucking name. He plays an Irish gang guy in prison. Like everyone in that has been in crazy things. You remember the doctor in the very beginning of Unbreakable, where the baby's arms are broken?
Yeah, vaguely. That one was a while ago.
Yeah, he had like a little cameo, but he played Kareem Saeed, like the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood in there. Dude, you're gonna be like, oh, this guy, oh, that guy, oh, fucking.
I'm gonna lug that then, because I like supporting a lot of actors. Or the same ones.
Man, it gives you context for how long these actors have actually been in the game, and they're just now like peaking, right? Like my acting coach used to say, like, people don't give acting the same amount of respect as they do other arts, which is right. You wouldn't see a masterpiece and be like, oh, I think I can do that. You wouldn't like watch a concert pianist and be like, oh, I think I can do that. But you would like watch somebody on the CW and you're like, oh, I can do that. you know, and like I'm gonna be an actor
Yeah.
today.
Look, someone put a teardrop, in her eye, and she's pretending insane
Yeah,
right
basically.
now, but she still looks untouched with makeup and hair.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyway, we're J.K. Simmons, Mardi Gras Oz. That's where we got to that. But we're gonna get back to our regularly scheduled program. We have these rants every once in a while. And what do we talk about? We talked about what you're watching, what I'm watching. You went back and watched Community. I watched some Death Note. I think it's time that we stump you on some quotes. What do you say? You up for the challenge?
Bring it on.
Oh yeah.
He said, sweating.
Bring it on. If someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. Oh my god. People are screaming at their TVs right now.
Wow.
If someone asks, Ray, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
Oh man. Don't want to.
To be fair,
I'm gonna say Godfather.
no, Ghostbusters.
Ah, damn it. Yeah, okay.
You throwing any my way, or is this a single episode?
No, I got a couple.
All right, fire them.
Let's do this. All right. No, wait, that one's old. That one's also old. All right.
If it's old, just throw it out there.
I don't think. Well, I'm only pulling from stuff I've seen.
That's awful.
No, it's not.
I mean, I might get the reference, even though you don't.
From well-known movies I've seen.
Okay.
If you let my daughter go, that'll be the end of it. I will not look at you. I will shit. Yeah.
Liam Neeson. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Neeson. All right, I got one for you. Me and
I think your mic cut
Veronica
out.
Vaughn. I muted. I accidentally hit mute all the time during the streams on this mic. All right. Me and Veronica Vaughn got it on. Woo! No, we didn't, but you'd imagine if we did.
Revenge of the Nerds?
I can see why. Billy Madison.
Oh,
Adam
damn it.
Sandler, Billy Madison. All right.
It's been so long since I've seen that. I need to refresh that one.
This is fair. You know what? I'm looking at my list. I don't know if this will be hard. We'll see. We'll see. This is what this is for.
Here, I'll give you one hard one, and then you can give me that hard one.
All right. One hard one. I gotta. Well, these shouldn't be hard. Go ahead.
I gotta rewatch some movies. Okay. I drink your milkshake.
Yeah, I know what this one is. It's the oil movie with Daniel Day-Lewis. What the fuck is it? There Will Be Blood.
Boom. Bonus happy points. I don't care.
All right. Jeez. Ooh. Look at the butt on that. Yeah. He must work out. Jeez. Look at the butt on that.
Oh
These are two guys standing each other.
I can imagine. I feel like I know the scene, but I can't place it.
Oh God.
I feel like YouTube just scanning images in my mind. What matches? I'm just gonna say Pain and Gain. I know that's wrong.
Well, points for shouting out a Michael Bay movie, since this is that episode, but it's Dumb and Dumber, where they first get to Aspen.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now. It's out in the snow?
Mm-hmm. You're up.
All right. That's terrible. No, I have not seen that. Okay, don't worry. I'm gonna.
I got one for you.
They call it a Royale with cheese.
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
No, that's not even how they say it. A Royale with cheese. A Royale with cheese. It's fucking John Travolta. Man, that ridiculous hair. Okay, here's another one. How the hell did you get the beans above the Franks?
Oh damn!
Frank and Beans.
Goosebumps?
Have you seen?
No, not Goosebumps. I'm thinking of something else. Oh my god. Oh
Have
my
you
god.
seen my baseball?
Sandlot?
No.
Wait, no. Okay, second guess. What is the name? There's a scene with like a statue and like a dick falls off or something. It breaks in it. Oh, it's not that movie?
That's not that. Something About Mary.
Oh, I didn't. No way.
You've never seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. I only saw one scene and it was like the jizz on the ear scene.
Oh my god. That is such a...
It was on YouTube.
Cameron Diaz is amazing. She's an amazing actress. She is not a comedic actress.
I get that sense.
She's great.
I liked her best in Fiona. I mean...
Delivering lines. I don't know. I'm talking shit. I would love to have the opportunities that she's had. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's tons of shit to holes that could be poked through in whatever I do.
Yeah, right. What we do here isn't exactly high art, as Thomas would say. Yeah. All right.
One last one.
One last one. Okay. No.
All right.
What's in the box?
I haven't seen it, but 7.
Okay. That's fair. So that one doesn't count. What you got?
Go ahead. Make my day.
Dirty Harry.
Boom.
Yeah,
I think we can
Clint.
call it.
No, we can't call. I got some more quotes here, mother.
Oh, okay. I'll remove that then.
This is actually more for the listeners than you then, all right? I'm going to take a few of these off, and I'm going to keep these here. But this one, I don't know if this one's easier now. It's a classic if you haven't seen it. There's no crying in baseball. Are you crying? She's crying.
That bench warmers?
No.
Bad News Bears?
That is a great movie. That is with Walter Matthau. Amazing fucking movie. But not it.
Ah, damn. Wait, didn't that also have I forget his name. Bob something. We have a movie show. Damn it.
There's no cry. That delivered by Tom Hanks, A League of Their Own. Also starring Madonna, Gina Davis. It actually had a crazy cast. I love that fucking movie.
I got to see that movie. Unfortunately,
Amazing movie. Again, if you guys are listening and watching, make sure you comment and let us know what we should be watching or if any quotes that stick out. Let's try to get some interactivity. We don't want to just talk to ourselves. Maybe one day we'll even stream this, but first we got to get the videos online. Aaron.
Almost there.
All right. Fuck, I got so many good ones. I will save these. I will mark this off and I will save these as we enter. Actually, one last one.
Bring it on.
One last one. You lucky old man Hummel wants you alive. 'Cause I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy. I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
Django Unchained?
I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
It's a Western it is.
It's a great segue into our current director, Michael Bay, because the film being quoted is The Rock, starring Sean Connery.
Damn. Yeah, no, I have to see that.
Yeah.
Wait,
oh, fuck.
It
takes place in San Francisco on Alcatraz.
I'm
you
sorry.
haven't seen it?
That I actually, it's really weird, but I've seen it twice, but only through cable TV. So it's been with commercials. So it's been something, but it's hilarious, dude. It was really funny when I was paying attention.
Dude,
I thought it was great.
Whoa. Ed Harris.
It was very intriguing. It's not bad, dumb. It was fun. It was a very, what am I saying wrong here?
That is what you can say about most Michael Bay films is they are fun. The Rock is a classic action movie. The Rock is one of the greatest action movies ever made. Period. That's on me. I say that. Fight me if you disagree. But yeah.
I'm intrigued by that because I've only seen it like in passing on basic cable, and no one has ever spoken to me about this movie until like by name until pretty recently with us.
Holy shit! Oh my god, man!
But I remember so many scenes actually really vividly. Like,
And it's so relevant.
what was the overall plot? Because I kind of remember like opening it with like Nicolas Cage, and he is in the acid room, and he's like, it's breaking. It's
Terrorists, terrorist chemical warfare. So basically, military. It's like American mercenaries versus the Navy SEALs and the FBI. And the Navy SEALs and the FBI are trying to form teams to infiltrate Alcatraz, where this chemical agent is, and then these fucking 4-star generals and like war heroes are basically holding them off with booby traps and like snipers and shit. It's crazy. It is a great movie.
I remember the car chase scene was
through
also,
San Francisco.
Yeah. And like they just slam into things and going, it's fine.
Well, that's also just like San Francisco, because like there's a fucking car speeding down the street. Now is a great time for you to walk into traffic. That car chase scene, if you think that's unrealistic, you've never driven in San Francisco. If you think that there aren't that many obstacles, if you don't think that there is some asshole yelling at a hotel person, valet, about don't ding their Hummer, you're crazy.
It's painfully accurate.
My favorite part of that car chase was when he crashes the Ferrari, and then like the motorcyclist is laughing at him. He's like, dude, you totally just thrashed your Ferrari. He's like, it's not my Ferrari. And he kicks the guy off his own motorcycle and steals it. that was like, classic.
I remember him kicking him off the motorcycle. I did not remember those were right after each other. That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Fucking
that was really good.
Sean Connery in that movie is an absolute animal madman. It's basically Sean Connery versus Ed Harris. That's what that movie is.
Okay, because like unfortunately, the only other thing I really saw Sean Connery from was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
which he was great in. I loved.
I had fun with it, but that movie's not perfect going back. Whoever that directed that, we got to talk about that director.
All right. I also watched that movie not knowing the comic reference, so I thought the movie was great.
Oh. No, I didn't know about that. It was more, I think maybe I saw it too young, and the Jekyll and Hyde, a bit of a sidetrack. Jekyll and Hyde character looked a bit gross to me, and I was like, no, I'm good.
I like that Jekyll and Hyde more than I like the Van Helsing Jekyll and Hyde, though.
Wait, is that a different like the more current Van Helsing movie?
Yeah, with Wolverine. I forget the guy's name.
Oh, I need to see that.
He played Van Helsing, and he went and he fought Jekyll and Hyde in like a tower in London or something, or Paris.
I have to see that. Okay, cool. I've only seen him as Wolverine. But anyway, back to The Rock. I think I remember the motorcycle scene. There's a lot of iconic parts to it, and it's weird that I know of it from just passing. Like I guess people have said maybe I just got it confused with Dwayne Johnson, because I'm never sure if it was him they were talking about, because wasn't there a Rock movie with Dwayne Johnson in it? Like that's how he broke in to his career.
I don't know. That's a good. I have no clue.
It was.
Well, here's the chronology, right? Like Michael Bay has a career that goes back to like 89, man, like directing alone, and he's still relevant. He's still making hits. It's like almost 60 films in, and they're like, let's like a musician or a painter, like they have their time, and I would argue that like Michael Bay's time is like mid to late 90s, because he bumps out Bad Boys, he bumps out after that The Rock, then he bumps out Armageddon, then he bumps out Pearl Harbor, then he bumps out Bad Boys 2, and like in 05, right around when like Transformer comes out, you're like, okay, this guy is like, he's filling some empty slots here.
That was my introduction to him. I'd say the first Transformers was a great introduction to Michael Bay action.
I would agree.
Because past that, it feels like the effects and the effort in the devil's in the details in filmmaking. So it just feels like some of the details got like tossed aside just for the sake of being like, well, it's fine with this. And I guess it is fine. It worked out. He clearly made like 6 movies and let Bumblebee be its own movie, which was fine. But Yeah, I don't know. I think the first one was just so well done. Like that freeway scene is very memorable to me. Like you can, as the both Transformers and or Optimus and the other one are kind of tackling each other freeway over freeway and
So
different trucks. It's amazing.
regardless of how like cotton candy the end product is, like he is very much a regimented director, serious about his art. I remember him, like Megan Fox was like the hot thing that just came out, and like she's like prancing around. I'm gonna get skewered for saying this stuff. But like,
But here's the thing:
she was
he
the
has this. Like,
but he had, yeah, they had like a spat because she wasn't taking it seriously, right? She was on set on her phone taking selfies like during the middle of scenes that didn't involve her, and like they had this like long back and forth, and she basically, I don't remember too much about it, but she like called him over the hill, or like he's not relevant, and she was like, and he was like, ask Martin Lawrence and Will Smith if I'm relevant, right? Like I make careers, which he does.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, because honestly, it felt from my memory, I thought it was Megan Fox was only on the rise because her name was even attached to it in the first place.
no one would know who she was without Transformers. All right, Megan, if you're watching, if there's some whole internet hole you found yourself in to where you find this clip, you owe Michael Bay your career. All right, so there, I said it.
Your thumbs.
But
I also, but with yeah, because no one was going to that movie for any of the actors. I loved Shia LaBeouf.
I was gonna say,
but no one was doing that for them because I still remember the teaser trailer being a moon rover. It was brilliant. Before any Transformers, just a moon rover on Mars, and then you see the shadowy Transformer buckle the Mars rover, and then the footage cuts out, and then it just says Transformers coming out. See ya. And everyone I just freaked out.
That's funny because the promo trailer I remember shows Shia, shows the Transformers, but there very distinctly shows Megan Fox like underneath the hood of a car, like a wrench monkey, right? Like in an oil stained cut off thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be CGI and implied sex. That's what this movie is. Sign me up. Let's do it.
Yeah, I should have known that going in. Otherwise, in the second movie, I wouldn't have been as frustrated when there was giant like Decepticon testicles, and that was a joke. And I was like, all right, could that not have been cut? And the story would have been fine. You had so many more dick jokes right before this one too.
Transformers was something that they should have stopped at 1, but the studio got their hands on, and they were like, we're gonna milk this. We're gonna fucking milk it, Michael. The money's here if you want to take it.
You know that? Yeah, actually, that might be his vibe too. Why he stopped caring more and more, because I guess the studios were just saying, "Do another." He's like, "All right."
Yeah, basically. Well, as far as like him on set too, I mean, he'll bring Michael Bay to the set. T.J. Miller did this great interview with the Asian comedian. I can't remember this guy's name. Bobby.
Moynihan? No, he's not
Asian. But he was talking about being on set with Mark Walhberg and Michael Bay, and like some of the methods. I encourage you guys to watch it because I'm gonna butcher whatever I'm about to say. But essentially, like he would bump heads with Michael Bay, and he kind of reconciled with him afterwards. And he's like, on a movie set, Michael explained everybody is miserable, right? The sound people hate the catering people, hate the production assistants, hate the like. So he's like, on his set, right? If they're all hating on me, at least they're working together. I was like, oh, that's a good common enemy bad guy vibe. Still makes you an asshole, but it's a good vibe.
It's an interesting approach for sure. Yeah. I respect that mentality than just seeing like clips online of him like saying like to Megan Fox, just do the fucking pose, just do it. It's not that hard, and kind of belittling her. Without context, though, but now with that context in mind, yes, yeah, he's a dick. But at least, I don't know, I track his thinking a little easier, slightly,
That whole, like, do the fucking pose thing is the same, like, TJ said he had a moment like that with him, where, for some reason, like, they had done the scene, like, 4 or 5 times, and Michael, like, stopped it and was like, TJ, how much are we fucking paying you to be funny? Like, we've done this, you haven't said a fucking funny thing this entire time. Like, just do the scene and just make it goddamn funny. And TJ responds back. He's like, you know what I love about you, Michael? And he's screaming. He's like, how much you motivate your goddamn actors. Top class. And that drew like a laugh out of everybody. And in that moment, Michael Bay was like, action. And they did the scene. And apparently it was like the funniest take of it. So it's one of those like, do you torture your actors to pull out what, you want? At the same time, the director is paying you to deliver lines a certain way or to do like as much as
oh no, go on.
No, as much as like you want to have your creative freedom, just do the fucking pose just so that he can get his shot and then we can move on. Everyone can go.
And when you think about it, that's why actors, I mean, not only for the monetary gain, but that's why actors kind of stick to some directors, because they know that they like working with them, and clearly that pair was not a match made in heaven.
That was, he was like signed up for the film. It was the studio doing everything. It didn't happen like the director was going to get the casting agent and then get the supporting crew. Like everything was provided to him. He's like, this is what I'm working with. All right, let's make this movie. I have no idea if any of that's true. I'm wildly speculating, but in my mind's eye, I would like to imagine that to be the case.
I like to see, that you can at least theorize in summary. That's the funnest part of this too. Like what did the producer say that fucked up the movie, in a way. And so it's kind of, it's fun to theorize about that.
And working on Transformers too, to some degree, like you can only really give yourself to a role like that if it's a proven director. Otherwise, like if you're a lesser director and a lesser actor, someone's asking you to stare up into space and pretend you're talking to a giant machine, right? This could turn out either one of two ways. Like you're pleasantly surprised by the end product, or this shitty Trolls CGI. 2. Yeah, or it turns into Trolls 2, right? You shot this in your basement, and like you were hoping that the director, you shot like 5 different takes, and that one take that you thought was really bad, you hope gets left on the editing floor, but that's the scene that they go with, right? Like there's just nothing.
The trailer.
Yeah, that's the one that they use to promote the fucking movie. Yeah, dude. And like he's got a running record of just like knocking it out of the park. The Rock, the Bad Boys is a classic. And Bad Boys 2. You know how hard it is to make sequels? Clearly he does with
I recently saw Bad Boys 1 and 2. I haven't seen the remake, but that's only because I learned he didn't actually direct it, I think his name's just he might be a producer.
Yeah, he didn't direct that.
Okay. Yeah, that I prefer not to see it because honestly, I want to see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence working with Michael Bay. The first 2 were really fun because of that. I like the first one more. It's a great sequel, Bad Boys 2. But I just wish Martin Lawrence wasn't like so downplayed. But I guess that was the point of that movie because he needed to feel like he was rising up from something.
Well, he was on his way out. He kind of did the Danny Glover Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit sort of role, right? Like he doesn't want to be doing car chases and risking his life. He's got a family. He's got a house on the waterfront in Miami Beach, right? Like at that point in my career, put me behind a desk. Why am I chasing Russian, Cuban, Haitian drug lords around? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Let the single new recruits out of the academy do that shit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that was a weird scene too when the kids were making fun of you still got an like above ground pool. And then you see the rest of their yard and it's like, well, this is still a beautiful house and everything around, regardless of that pool. But
it is
you.
It is really hard to make a action film with beat cops, right? Or to like depict cops, especially now, in any positive light, in any kind of film. But like when you watch Martin Lawrence and Will Smith as like in partnership with that, right? You're invested in that in like the outcome, right? You're like, as outlandish as it is that they went to Cuba with a spy team and made it out to Guantanamo on a minefield in the last scene, right? Like you believed it.
Yeah.
You like that happened.
In Bad Boys, wait, which one?
That was Bad Boys 2. But in Bad Boys 1, where you're racing on the tarmac in the Porsche versus the BMW.
In the freeway?
So the last scene with the chase with the Russian guy, right? They're speeding. And after the major shootout, and the fucking bad boy's car has the Porsche has 3 people in it. It's a 2-seating speedster, and Michael Bay convinced us that it would beat a 2-door coupe BMW on a straightaway, right? Not to mention the fact that, like, the reason why the car crashed is because only one car can fit through a slot. So instead of slowing down and exercising some common sense, maybe doing a pit maneuver, they just had like a drag race through essentially a narrow window that Will Smith and they survived. But for some reason, you thought that they wouldn't.
I think a lot of questions with him is like, how did he even film this to get it to look like it? You know, I respect him so much from the angle of he wants to record a train wreck, but he also wants to fill it with dynamite and get it in 60 frames a second. And he doesn't do slow-mo as often as like Snyder, but he uses it, I think, sometimes better than Snyder. Snyder's a little light triggered with it, you know?
All of the scenes that I recount in my memory of like some of my best action movie scenes have been Michael Bay in slow motion, right? Whether it's Nicolas Cage dropping the VX gas in The Rock, or whether it's Bad Boys 2. The shot in Bad Boys 2 with Will Smith in the Haitian drug house. Instant classic. When the camera's rotating and it's a gun standoff and they're talking shit through the wall. Like, that is fucking, dude, my erection can only get so hard, guys. Like, wow. Michael, take a little bit off the top, please.
There's no blood going to his heart.
It was hard. Dude, it was intense, man.
No, I agree. I vividly remember that scene because of that. Also, I'm not good with quotes, but I remember loving the dialogue and how dense it was in that scene, because the shit they're talking at each other is so funny, and I can't even tell what's improv or what's written.
It's believable. It is absolutely believable that this is the kind of shit that in this situation that they would be fucking yelling at each other. None of it was cringe. I could do without, you know what? I was going to say I can do without Martin Lawrence shouting from behind the toilet, but even some of the lines he delivered, I was like, yeah, nah, he's ranting about being stuck in a little ass room with a bunch of fucking Haitians and guns. Shit. Right? Like, no, that is some real frustration that I probably would voice.
He is I think, yeah, they both play their role perfectly. I still consider them both badass, but Will Smith definitely got the cooler hand on that one. But I don't care.
He's the Miami Beach playboy single detective driving a Porsche.
He's Will Smith.
And he's Will Smith.
And I grew up watching both Fresh Prince and Martin, and I loved them both, but definitely even from those origins, Will Smith has always been like the cooler dude.
Yeah.
The Drake to his Josh. You know, but even though they're way more iconic.
Even outside of that, like Armageddon is like, I know at this point how this movie is gonna end. But when I go back and I watch it, and the end with the conversation with his daughter, I still get misty-eyed. Now that goes to the performance, but like, get you a director who can do both, baby.
I haven't seen Armageddon yet. I was about to watch it for this because it's on HBO, but which we are not sponsored by.
Send us free stuff.
They're getting rid of the Go app, and now I have to use Max, and I don't want to do that.
HBO, I believe, is now a new offering on YouTube TV, so you guys should like hit that up. Anyway, sorry, plug.
I think I'm gonna really watch Armageddon because I love Bruce Willis when he can get a director that can get him to really emote a lot, and he's good at doing that himself. But again, in just more recent years, I feel like he's earned the right to slack off in some roles.
What was he in recently, Bruce Willis?
Red 2 is the last thing I saw him in. Oh, and the Die Hard movies. The last one was terrible.
Something dramatic. Oh, wait. We talked about it last show. Fucking Glass, man, and Unbreakable. Like,
Well, yeah, but again, that director M. Night pulled out the best of him, and I feel like he was still quiet in that role, but he still felt real.
Armageddon is kind of the same, which
Okay.
is essentially what I was gonna say. Like, he's an action star that like has those dramatic chops, and he can bring those dramatic stakes to a movie. Like, literally, the world is about to end, right? Like, who's saving you, and like, who are you compelled to see survive? Right? You've got Steve Buscemi in this movie, right?
Yeah, I
Michael
didn't know that.
Clark Duncan is in this film.
Oh, that's
Uh,
good. Those are good names. That's
uh,
awesome.
dude, it's a great film. And then, you know what? Michael Bay does use the same actor because the Russian Grim Reaper from Bad Boys 2. You remember that guy?
Vaguely. Did he have like tattoos everywhere?
No, he did business with the Cuban, and then the Cuban chopped up his buddy, and then he went back to the Cuban's house and wanted to kill him at the same time that the FBI was uh, storming the compound. Anyway, he's
Yeah,
also in Armageddon. So yeah, Michael Bay definitely like has an affinity for that guy, whoever that is.
that's
I forget
cool.
his name. He's a good actor. I know the actor. He does the promo spot for Call of Duty, right? The Replacers. You should, watch those promos. Those promos are badass. But yeah,
That could be its own episode because I still remember not being into many Call of Duty games, maybe like one. I can't remember which one it was. And then I always remembered their trailers though. I was always like, get me that.
I wish Call of Duty as a game was as good as their commercials.
Yeah.
As badass as the promos they cut.
Yeah.
It
Like
gets repetitive quick.
really. Yeah. I think in high school I got super into it, but I think it was Modern Warfare 2.
Oh
But that
yeah.
was because of the online, towns and maps that they had in that one. And ever since then, I tried picking up this new one. Again, I got to replace my laptop or PC or something because it can't even run the new Call of Duty.
I mean, if you're not playing Call of Duty on a PC, you're not playing it at all. So I commend the effort. Anyone who plays a first person shooter on controllers is basically bowling with the guardrails up on the gutters. Right? Like, that's essentially it. Like, fuck you, get good, get a PC and play with the pros.
I hate that you said that because I have a controller.
Oh man.
But that's mainly for like the one player games. I tried getting away with a controller in like Overwatch, but then we'll have a game episode as well in Overwatch. And then like based on how I was moving the camera, the gun, he was like, "Wait a minute." A friend of mine was just, "Are you using a fucking controller right now?" I'm like, how can you even tell how you're moving, how you're looking right now? It's all too delayed. I'm like, that is on point.
All I gotta say is aim auto assist. Michael Bay would not approve. That's that. But the movies that I haven't seen on his list that I need to see that I heard were pretty good. Like Rotten Tomatoes probably isn't. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, but I heard from someone whose opinion I trust that Pain and Gain was actually pretty funny and pretty good.
I heard positive things about it. Armageddon, just to hop back, I heard like a lot of, I've known about through parodies and I've never seen. So I kind of know the basis of the movie, and that's kind of how it's that's just little, how embedded it is in this like social media or social norm. You know what I mean?
It's
Pop
yeah,
culture.
it's such a weird, like, believable movie. You're like, yeah, of course NASA would enlist this ragtag group of fucking dipshits to save the world. Yeah, that's totally believable, but it works. It absolutely, like, in hindsight, like thinking about it now, I wonder through your perspective how much of it is still like, oh, this, like, how glaringly obvious it's an old movie, because I think it might age pretty well, but I haven't seen it in a while.
I've seen a lot of movies that aged well. I haven't seen Pearl Harbor. I didn't hear
Pearl
positive.
Harbor's Cuba Gooding Jr. That's a great movie with no comedy, definitely straight drama, and it is painful to watch, man. It like whenever, so all right, yeah, whenever you want to do something on a world scale, like a massive sort of event that like just can't be contained to like, oh, a building in Queens, New York, right? Like, I think there's nobody better than Michael Bay. I just say that, right? Like that's
He's really good at getting those big picture shots.
Yeah, man.
Looks so good.
I haven't seen like 1916, and I don't want to compare him to like Saving Private Ryan or anything like that. But just like there's something of I would. He gets a lot of shit for making Transformers, but he doesn't get enough credit for doing the things he does really well.
I heard. I watched some little YouTube news channels, and I was curious, what were your thoughts? Because I don't remember the actual reviews of Pearl Harbor, but I don't remember if it was universally loved when it came out, because it was around the same time as Titanic, but it's not James Cameron, it's Michael Bay thinking. You know what I mean? Those are two different worlds of.
I remember it being lauded pretty well. Like 2001. Especially because of like 9/11 stuff, right? Like, well, had 9/11 happened at that point?
2001.
Yeah, I mean in 2001, but September 11th, like, was later in the year. When did this?
I think his came out. Yeah, because this had to have come out.
Because I just remember it being swept up in like all the patriotism of the moment. I don't know if it like got re-released. No. So it got released first, and then later that year, the unfortunate events of 9/11 happened, which might have like given it a resurgence of like popularity. But I just remember like, wait, am I thinking about this right? Yeah, no, Cuba Gooding Jr. Right. So I'm on the IMDb page looking up when the date was, and I'm like, I don't see Cuba Gooding up here, but I remember Ben Affleck, I remember Josh Hartnett, but they don't stand out to me. I remember Cuba Gooding's performance as like the minority crewman who got rewarded for his valor in there. I also remember certain scenes of like the ship sinking and sailors going down with the ship as it takes on water. They're trapped under like 5 different levels of steel and slowly drowning, right? Like it brought the reality of like life or death on a submarine into reality, man. And it is not if I had to live in a submarine, I would keep a sidearm on me at all time. There is no way I'm drowning. Zero. Absolutely fucking zero.
We should get into Sam Raimi because I need to talk about Evil Dead with someone. But basic long story short, you should always have a way out.
Yes.
If you're like fire.
Reaffirmed by Pearl Harbor, absolutely. But then, he does these. I don't know why. I have no idea why. John Krasinski.
This one I have a lot of questions. I know exactly. I have a lot of questions about this. Have you seen 13 Hours?
I've seen scenes from 13 Hours. I know the story. I stay away from it only because I know. No, only because I know the situation and I don't want to be propagandized to. And I know I should like give it up and sit down and stomach the movie. But like, I don't think there are a certain subset of our culture who are going to think 13 Hours is a documentary. And I don't.
If people are confusing like actors with their characters on any show, and sometimes some shows are harder to draw the line on that. I don't think it. I think it's it's too easy for people to make that mistake.
It was, you know what? I saw the trailer when it came out in the movie theater, and as a political science student and a public administration grad student, following the events of what happened in Libya, as they were happening, I saw the trailer essentially boil down to Washington is failing to act. We need to do something. And I was just like, yeah, it's not kind of how that worked, but like, all right, let's,
I wish I had somewhat the horror movie family love. My family more so loved true stories. And then we just kind of barreled through those. And those weren't my favorite movies because when I looked into them later, the ones that interested me, like Moneyball or You just made a reference to something. Anyway, it's never as accurate. But
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, it's never as accurate, and that always kind of frustrated me. That's
I mean, and that's it, right? Like it. You don't want to sound like your parents, right? Removing the veil of awesomeness from a film, but you're like, this isn't true, right? Or this isn't real life, right? But
yeah.
you kind of have to you know what? When at the beginning of every film, when they tell people to turn your cell phone off, like go to the concession stand, there should be like a guy who comes out who's like, so this is only make believe, right? Like, don't do any of this shit. Like, this is just some guy's interpretation or some person's interpretation of these events. This never, God.
It's not worth the vine.
Yeah. But what was I saying? So John Krasinski, like, okay, yeah, stop it, Jim.
He's getting us so flustered, like I are freaking out because
the scene that I saw was him in a standoff at a gun at a checkpoint, and he was believable in that, right? I believe that he was like this contracted paramilitary person, and he was grizzled and he was ready to basically shoot it out, bang it out right there. The question is, did he ask to read for that, or did they say, I got the perfect person for this, Jim?
It was just, I think it was, I don't know. I would have to see Jim acting, because outside of The Office, because every time I haven't seen Quiet Place. I need to see that.
Yeah, same.
But I don't know. I guess I haven't given him a chance outside of it. Maybe there's one spare comedy he's been in. That was just I can't even remember the name of it, but it's just he's not the most compelling actor to me. He's a fine actor, just not the most compelling to me.
A man has the right to change his career path. A little Coming to America reference, but if he wants to, change the course of the stuff that he's in, right? It's sure, you have that right, but he took a hard left after The Office. He was not gradual cameos. He's this is me. I am jumping out of buildings with explosions happening. This is.
I guess no one expected it. No, I didn't. At least when it's Community, and Donald Glover becomes, Childish Gambino. I was following that situation behind the scenes and what he was going through at the time, but it's just it's totally fine to reinvent yourself. I like that a lot, but you also there's a reason some actors who tried to reinvent themselves couldn't, and I guess it's just shocking to see Jim there. You know what I mean? It's just you can't break the barrier a little, but I've seen him act in some clips as well, and I don't know. I think he's definitely not the worst actor, and he's not a bad actor, and at all. But I just don't think. Yeah. Same.
Talk about the person who's made good career moves, right? Mark Walhberg, right? Between our last conversation with M. Night and The Happening, not my favorite, and then the Transformers, again, not my favorite, but to Pain and Gain. He went from Transformers, right? He sat through all these Transformers, and he was probably look, Michael, if I do these movies for you, you got to bring me on for something not Transformers related, right? And Pain and Gain was probably all right, here's my make good to you for this. Thanks for doing all the fucking grunt work on the CGI garbage.
Wait, was Wahlberg's very first Transformers movie Dark of the Moon or Age of Extinction?
I thought his first Transformers movie was Transformers.
No, Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Not the very first one. That was Shia LaBeouf.
Did Mark Wahlberg... Wahlberg was probably the sequel when they discovered them. Right? He was looking for them and he found one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wahlberg was the second.
Because that's where TJ Miller was. And that was his time kind of then. And he's also going through some stuff. That's kind of why he did Emoji Movie. But that's another episode. Another day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I ended at that Age of Extinction. Because so many people, friends of mine, were kind of freaking out. They were like, but it's got robot dinosaurs. And I'm like, they're going to be in it for 5 minutes. You know this. This happened 3 times before.
When they brought in the Transformer dwarfs, right? The guy with the cigar. Yeah, it's just like, come on. But similarly, like as much as you have to remind ourselves, these movies aren't for us.
Yeah.
Right? Like these are for kids. And in terms of entertainment, like Michael Bay nails it again.
I think
yeah.
he kind of feels like he verges the line again. He's trying to verge the line for, like R-rated, like RoboCop.
Yeah.
We sent that line where this is for adults and mainly for adults, but you kids will enjoy it.
The Transformers are like PG-13. That's the movie that like the moms take their 9-year-old to like show them that they're mature enough to handle it. Like, you see, Jimmy, I trust you. Like, let's go watch a PG-13 movie together. And then maybe they get a glimpse of like half nude Megan Fox in the process.
Oh, she was showering in silhouette.
Yeah, he makes TLDR of this episode. He's a good director.
He is.
I think like when people shit on him, I try to remind them that he was involved in some definite classics, and The Rock, Armageddon, Bad Boys 1 and 2 are some of my top movies of all time.
I did not think, because after Transformers being my first introduction, going back to some of his classics with Bad Boys and I guess just realizing The Rock was one of them, I think I have a newfound respect for what he does and how he does it, because it's definitely not for the fans. It's just because he knows how to entertain.
Yeah.
Mass audiences.
He
knows how to, he's like a lawyer.
Completely entertaining and engrossing. He knows what he's doing. When what am I making? Who is this for? I'm like being real snide about like it's bubblegum fucking movie time, but at the same time, a friend of mine brought her kid to see Transformers, and she had to take the kid out because the kid was overwhelmed. It was like a bit too much for the kid. Like these robots, like explosions and gunfire.
And your hero, this is why I say like he's not doing it for the fans, because your hero, if you even give a crap about the source material, Optimus Prime is like, kill them all. He's just like whether it's Decepticon, whoever it's in his path and crossing Optimus, that's who he's gonna fuck over and kill. And that's fine. That's definitely the action style of it. But it's just funny because it's definitely not like a. I mean, maybe Optimus killed in the older cartoon. There was one I saw recently where it was a better character development for the main, for Optimus Prime. Okay, so I guess he thrives in character development, but just not in the way I'm expecting. It's more like, never mind. I like Bad Boys, and there's no character development for Optimus Prime.
So I guess we conclude this episode on that note. And we probably bring it back exploring the career of TJ Miller next week. Is that what we left it on? No.
Oh, man. No, I was kidding. Yeah, we have some alternatives. We should go through some alternatives.
But thank you guys so much for listening to us shoot the shit. We will do more of these. I'm not sure when you're seeing this, but please let us know what's coming out, what you're excited to watch, what you're excited to hear about. If you've got any recommendations based on the things we've discussed, leave it in the comments below and give us ideas to talk about. We can talk about nothing for hours. At least if one of you guys gives us something to talk about, we'll probably stick closer to that topic, right? Knowing that someone's hinging on this. Someone really wants to hear our opinion on shit.
I feel like we got some good rants. We got some good opinions on what makes movies good, and but also what makes them fun. I definitely think I can't wait to get to the next episode and actually talk about Nolan. I'm just gonna throw.
Oh God! Oh Jesus!
He has Tenet coming out, which as of this recording has not come out.
We might be able to talk about what was the first Bale film. The Machinist, was that Nolan?
I don't think so. I have to see that if that is, but no. I think it was Prestige.
Ah, okay.
Oh, no. Memento. I think it was Memento.
Memento, that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry. Yeah, I know we've had this conversation about Batman, but I dislike Nolan's Batman a lot.
I can understand that, but I'll have some questions.
All right, that's fine. We'll take that up on the next one. I guess it's Nolan talk unless we decide on otherwise.
We can do whatever we want.
You're absolutely fucking right. We can. And what we're gonna do right now is end in the content. All right, you guys. Thanks for listening. I'm Warren. That's Aaron, and we're out of here.
Peace.
My inventory roll.
I'm looking at chat. You shouldn't look at chat. I do like the ban hef though, because he made a comment that was borderline bannable. All right, so
What?
I've seen more bannable on.
The heck did Hef say?
Have you?